This is a letter I received in response to a letter that I wrote to you. Dear Cedric Leland Allums, thank you for contacting the office of Governor John Bell Edwards with your concerns. In order to file a complaint against any judge, you must do so with the Supreme Court Judiciary Commission of Louisiana. The address to the Supreme Court Judicial Administrator's office is 400 Royale Street, New Orleans, Louisiana 70130. Phone number 504-310-2550. The governor nor the attorney general has no authority to investigate the actions of attorneys or judges. In addition, you may need to seek legal assistance. Organizations such as Southeast Louisiana Legal Service may be able to provide some assistance if you are unable to afford an attorney. You can also contact the Louisiana State Bar Association for information about attorneys that may help pro bono. We genuinely empathize with you and understand your frustration. We definitely wish that we could do more. Okay, these are the letters that I've written one to the governor, written one to the White House, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters to the Judiciary Commission of Louisiana. Okay, this is a letter that I received from the Judiciary Council. This will acknowledge receipt of your complaint against Judge Claire Jupiter, which has been assigned file number 1607 for future reference. Your complaint does not allege judicial misconduct within the scope of our jurisdiction. Thus, we cannot open inquiry. Okay, this is another one. Dear Mr. Allums, this will acknowledge receipt of your complaint against Judge Nakisha Irvin Knox, which has been assigned file number 16-197 for future reference. Your complaint does not allege judicial misconduct within the scope of our jurisdiction. Thus, we cannot open inquiry. Okay, this is another letter. File number 14-246, 16-197, 16-214, 16-264, 16-406, 16-407. Dear Mr. Allums, this will acknowledge receipt of your email dated October 16, 2016. Your email will be considered an appeal of the screen-out decision in file numbers 16-264 and 16-407. These files will be submitted to the Commission for its review. The Commission will contact you directly once it has made a decision. Okay, this is a copy of the Code of Judicial Conduct to which I wrote to the Judiciary Commission canon by canon and listed each offense or allegation about judicial misconduct to the Judicial Commission. And like they said, my complaints allege no judicial misconduct. So here is the document. George A. Blair III, attorney, which I hired to represent me, following the instructions that your office gave me in order to try best to have fair treatment in the Orleans Parish courts. So here is the order of protection that was first rendered by Judge Claire Jupiter, which also put my children under protection. And if you notice, it expired December 17, 2015. So this is a copy of the transcripts that I obtained from being in front of Judge Claire Jupiter. Ann Murillo was the court reporter. Okay, page 12 of these transcripts. The court. Let me tell you, because I hear an incident of violence in 2008 and then apparently no violence since then. All right, this is to document the violence that she noted in court, which, if you read the bottom, victim was present in court. Victim stated that she lied to Shreveport Police Department and was charged with filing a false report. And if you could see the the stamp to show that it's official court documents. So page 13, court still talking. It does not seem to me a situation. Well, it seems to me that a civil injunction is sufficient, and I won't impose the kind of protective order that goes to the Louisiana protective order. And basically, I objected. And down here I said, what proof has she presented? Well, she's alleged that. And I basically reiterated, she's alleged. So after noticing that the judge was accepting allegations, I stated, I might have to ask you to recuse yourself from this situation because you seem biased. And she said, no, sir, I won't. So I said, you seem biased. So she said, yes, okay. Well, I regret that because I don't want to be biased. So she was admitting that she was biased. So page 19, line 7 of the transcripts, I said, like I said, I asked you earlier that there is a burden of proof. And the court says yes. The court's required you not ignore that. So she, in being offended, and the Court of Appeals will certainly overturn my judgment. So after ruling a protective order for 18 months against my kids, the court then again, second time, okay, but you haven't told me any threats of anything like that in there. And Miss Williams confirms, oh, no. It's just that court says he's trying to get back together with you. Miss Williams, yeah. Here, the judge, the court, let me suggest some options to you all. First of all, if someone doesn't want you to contact them, Mr. Allums, you shouldn't. Parents have a right to see their children unless a parent is unfit or poses a threat to the children's safety or welfare and well-being. So the courts give you a vehicle for trying to see your children. That is, you file a rule for visitation and it's set for hearing and Mr. Allums has to be served. Okay, and she goes for it. And I'm going to instruct her to state her address on the record where she can be served. That's the technique that you use, not constantly calling her. So once again, this order of protection was ruled after Judge Claire Jupiter found that twice there was no threat of domestic violence. And she also ruled a protective order against me seeing my kids for 18 months. Which expired December 17, 2015. Okay, so here are my efforts to utilize the court system. I filed a motion to appeal. So here is my application. Here's my motion. All right, here is the estimated cost and received September 10th, 2014, $645.50 in a money order, to which the Court of Appeals never contacted me with a court date. They just took money from me, never fulfilling their obligation. Okay, so let's revisit the letter that was sent to me. In addition, you may need to seek legal assistance. Organizations such as Southeast Louisiana Legal Services may be able to provide some assistance. Okay, so after the initial protective order expired in December 2015, in April 2016, I went to the Southeast Louisiana Legal Services and filled out this rule to modify custody. So in going before Judge Nikisha Irvin Knox, this document states that I received this paperwork in court. But if you would notice, Cedric Leland Allums is filed absent. And basically the rule to modify custody is denied. This is after informing Judge Nikisha Irvin Knox of my motion for an appeal and how the appeals court never contacted me with a date, a court date. She never, I've been before her twice, explained her ruling at all. So once again, in October 2016, went to court before Judge Nikisha Irvin Knox, who, in my opinion, had a retaliation against my filing a complaint upon her to the Judicial Commission. And here you can see that the petitioner listed the address 3501 Parker Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70119. So here, paragraph 9C, prohibiting defendant from going within 100 feet yards of the residence, apartment complex, or multiple family dwelling of the protected person located at 3501 Parker Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70119. Here, the petitioner also is requesting that I stay away from Mary MacLeon Bethune, 2401 Humanities Street, where my daughter attends elementary school. So here is the order, protective order that I received from Judge Nikisha Irvin Knox the second time I went before her. And if you will notice, present listed Danielle Williams Allums, and her address is 3501 Parker Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70119. When before the judge, she opened up with being upset that I had contacted every Orleans Parish civil judge in order to educate them on parental alienation. Okay, I want you to notice that I had an attorney, George A. Blair, who did not do anything. The judge never required a burden of proof. He didn't uphold her to that requirement, and it became combative between he and I when he denied me trying to speak and correct his miswordings or misunderstandings of the case. As you can see, he wished to put in a motion to continue, but failed to do so. He's an elderly fellow and his mind's not too sharp anymore. So I noticed that he was attempting to try and educate himself on the matters surrounding this case better and properly. Okay, here it states that the court grants Cedric Allums shall have supervised visitation at Harmony Kingsley House. Both parties are to register with Kingsley House. This visitation shall begin after Cedric Allums completes his psychological evaluation. See section titled Other. Okay, domestic abuse, dating violence, stalking, or sexual assault. Cedric Allums shall undergo a psychological evaluation with Metropolitan Human Service District. The contact number is 504-568-3130. Now understand, I haven't seen my kids since May of 2014. And I went and I called the Metropolitan place, and they told me there are services out here in Hammond. So this letter was written in response to explain that they do not offer psychological evaluations. And see here, Civil District Court of Parish of Orleans, Judge Nikisha Irvin Knox, Cedric Leland Allums, Danielle Allums versus Cedric Leland Allums, case number 2010-00699, CW 2012-05792. Mr. Allums attended Rosenblum Mental Health Center on 11/21/16, seeking a psychological evaluation as court ordered. Rosenblum Mental Health Center does not employ psychologists and does not conduct psychological evaluations. Rosenblum Mental Health Center treats the chronically mentally ill. Mr. Allums does not meet criteria for services at our clinic. If we can be of further assistance in this matter, please feel free to contact us at your convenience. Sincerely, Ms. Maureen Betty, social worker. So here is an arrest that a warrant was placed after me for violation of protective orders, to which was unwarranted because there was no threat of violence, no domestic violence. And, like I said, all I was trying to do is just see my kids and have the courts intervene and mediate this situation properly. To which state troopers arrested me, and TPR Marino and TPR Biliu um, hurt my back in the process of like pulling me out of my vehicle for some ungodly reason because I was cooperating with them fully. And I told them several times, actually, I told them twice that I had spinal fusion in February and gave them my veterans military ID that had service connected on it. So here's the issue with the innocent until proven guilty factor, to which us good citizens are subjected to abuse through the police and state troopers. Okay, as to the credibility of the petitioner, in 2008, like I said, she was charged with filing a false report and convicted. In 2000, she lied whenever I was out in St. Charles Parish, and we had to go to court concerning simple battery case to where she lied again, and it was found. Danielle P. Williams, 3800 Texas Drive apartment, 227, New Orleans, Louisiana, sworn in and examined. And it gets down, defendant is sworn in and testifies, found not guilty. So this goes to the credibility of the petitioner, who the courts constantly are ignoring and showing favoritism and biased rulings, female judges. I realize they can't reason with them. They are unreasonable and fail at logic. It becomes a competition about winning and losing versus right and wrong and justice.